I forget if we can swear.
Yeah, of course.
We can swear?
Yeah.
We're gonna fuck until we're all brown. That's
a movie?
Someone better post that. It's not Idiocracy, but it's some other, like, the president is running for, like, someone's running for president and they say, like, well, all of us, we're all just gonna be fucking until it's all just... We're all just the common shade of somewhere.
I have no idea what
that sounds like a
stand
stand-up comedy.
It's a mid-90s movie.
Okay.
I just forget. I never actually saw the movie. I only saw that clip. I'm a bad person.
It sounds like...
I'd love to say who it was, but I honestly... that's a really common joke across a lot of comedians.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Even the joke's been fucked enough times.
So, do you want me to ease you into this story? Because you told me you had a story, Ken.
I don't think this is like a intro kind of story, do you think?
I mean, by the way, I'm literally trying to get Ken to go from, we're talking about dicks right now, a circle of dicks.
Okay.
And now I'm like, all right, let's talk about Kellogg's cereal.
Well, Kellogg's was invented to bring down
Kellogg's
sexual
and dicks
libido.
go together because
so.
that's
Was
the whole
it really?
circumcision
Yes, it
thing.
was. Cornflakes was originally created
Dude, you know what? If any cereal was meant to bring down your libido,
bring down
it's
libido
cornflakes.
to suppress sexual
I
appetite.
feel nothing when I eat.
But Kellogg's at the time, he was making this kind of like brand kind of flake in order to treat people that were at the sanitarium. Like the people that were going crazy.
He was trying to treat women who were having not psychosis. What is it?
Periods? No, look, back then they were
cereal's not.
they were crazy and they did stuff like that to women.
Because they were saying women are crazy.
Yeah.
There were periods 100 years ago? I thought that was just like a new thing.
It's just a millennial thing.
It's a millennial thing.
Millennials are ruining everything.
Yeah. But they said that like the founder of Post actually was going crazy after a while until he went to the sanitarium, tried the new cornflakes, and be like, hey, can you teach me how? So when I go home and so can I make these cornflakes at home? End up stealing the idea and starting the company known as
He added
Post.
raisins to it.
Yeah, and then apparently he just died like a terrible death
Oh,
afterwards.
that sucks.
No, that's called karma. You
Called karma.
The doctors so nicely, Kellogg's gave him like here's how you make cornflakes, and he's like, okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go home and sell it.
I mean, I have a question.
At the market.
Kellogg's wasn't a nice guy.
Was he not? I don't know anything. Dude, I don't know anything about cereal
I
makers.
know we've
at
talked
all.
about Kellogg's being used to suppress sexual appetite. It was
Wow.
when we did the psychology episode.
That was like a year ago. I literally remember nothing about that time in my life.
Anyone ever get a hard on from eating
Okay,
cornflakes?
that's what I was gonna ask. What cereal?
Whoa!
Well, I mean, not
you love breakfast. Dude.
not in those words.
That got
I guess.
serious.
It's like the boringest cereal you could get. Apparently, one of the things that Post did do was that he didn't just release the cornflakes, the wheat flakes. He actually started Grape Nuts, which is like also a very bad cereal.
I would actually
terrible.
say I would say that
the
is
worst.
the most anti-hard-on cereal is Grape Nuts. Like crunching and your teeth are grinding and like you can feel everything in your mouth just ripping apart. It just does not say sex. It's not.
Well, should we go with this then? The next question is,
Yeah.
who's the sexiest cereal spokesperson? Mascot. Thank you.
Mascot.
Ooh.
Chocula.
Count Chocula.
Really?
I mean,
Count Chocula?
Listen, I think that it probably is Tony the Tiger. He's ripped.
He's not bad.
He's buffness.
Ripped, dude.
Yeah.
The people on Twitter that are like into like furries, they actually refer to Tony the Tiger's daddy. They're like
Oh yeah.
like
The furries love Tony.
yeah, dude. I can't remember what they said. They say something like harder daddy or something like that.
Oh,
They just
no.
say that about Tony the Tiger. I mean, I think I'd be safe in his arms. That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's gonna be nice.
And at the end of it, you know what he's gonna say.
That was great.
Hey, at least my
And then he's gonna hand you a bowl of cereal.
I
So.
mean, dude, breakfast in bed. Dude, you're
Breakfast in
right.
bed.
Dude, Tony's a great lover. I'm not gonna lie. I get it. I get it now. I'm kind of.
That
into it
is
a
our
little bit.
hashtag. Tony is a great lover.
Get ready.
Welcome to another episode of Ryan Noosh Pro Skater.
It's because of my skateboard. That's why.
It's there.
Oh, that was your skateboard?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's a doorstop now. I'm one of the hosts, Danushka.
Yeah, wow.
Ooh.
It's been a long day, and I've had way too much wine.
You had one glass of wine.
No.
How big was the
Too much
glass?
for Noosh.
It takes a lot of input to run this machinery. It's a lot of, I'm way too sober now. I just say sobered up immediately.
Let's blame it on that.
Yeah. So today we also have Courtney Rajan, Ken Tran, Brendan Kidney, and our guest for today is Clinton Stubbs. What's your last
Stubbs?
name? What's your last name?
Clinton Downs.
Dude, I
Stubbs and Downs. That's not even close.
I thought to myself,
There was an S in there.
the only reason why, by the way, I've literally never, because when we met, I only knew your first name. And then
Yeah.
I know on Facebook, you know how it sends you like, oh, add this person on Facebook. I saw, Clinton, and I saw your last name, and I knew it ended with like an S, and I was like, oh. And right now I thought, it's Stubbs. It's got to be Stubbs. It's
Makes
Downs.
sense.
I'm just saying Stubbs is sticking, and he's Stubbs from now on.
Yeah, Stubbs.
Hey,
I'll take
Stubbs.
it. I'll take it.
Well, okay, so what are we today?
Let's see.
I made this up so fast that it's probably going to be terrible.
But you built up to it, so I'm expecting really good things.
What do you guys think it's going to be? Anybody have a guess?
Courtney's gonna be the smart one. I'm gonna be the destructive one.
Well,
See, I've been waiting to see what I'm gonna be.
okay. If we were teen movies,
Oh,
what
God.
would we be?
Oh.
Okay.
Oh no.
So I think Ryan would be Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay.
I mean, mostly for two reasons. One, he's really cool. You know,
Yeah.
I always think Ryan's so cool. Also, he's just not around. You know, and
This is the longest day
Ryan.
off ever.
Ryan.
Ryan,
Ryan.
No, it would be Walters.
Stubbs.
Walters,
Walters.
Courtney. Okay, so
All right.
Or should I just call him Stubbs? Like
Stubbs. Stubbs is a name I give white people.
I didn't know his
when
last name.
When I don't know what a white person's name is, it's Stubbs.
Stubbs.
Thank you for that.
And I dodged that bullet.
We all look the same anyway.
Okay, Courtney. So
Yes.
I had
This
two
will be
in mind.
interesting.
I had two in mind for you.
Okay.
Very different. Very
Okay.
different. One, I thought maybe Weird Science, and I also put down, and I don't know why this. Let's blame it on being buzzed from his line. I put Pretty in Pink also.
Would those average to 16 Candles?
I think so. I mean, 16.
Well, they're like around the same time.
But
No, Pretty in Pink
but
was-
Weird Science is like super nerdy. They're obsessing about somebody, and they like do this. I don't know. Like it's
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just kind of an awkward
Yeah.
like, storyline.
It's a really
But then-
weird story.
But then Pretty in Pink is almost like too girly and like
Yeah.
too like
Yeah, it's really
ditzy.
Supergirl.
and
Me.
and so just in and it has really been maybe like 5 minutes of Instagram stalking and then like half an hour of being here.
That's usually the case.
I would say it's kind of in the middle. You
Yeah.
you
Okay.
have things that you like that you're gonna work for.
Yeah,
And you've got an awkward
true.
family, and you've
You got
a-
me as Donger. I'm
you-
basically
yeah, I was gonna say you've got
Donger.
an Asian guy in a tree. So
Yep, makes sense.
how is this not 16 Candles? Which is by the way my favorite teenage movie
Oh,
of
there you
all
go.
time. I think
I
that
think I only just finally
summarizes
saw
everything.
16 Candles like the past year or so.
Dude, you missed all the good
Yeah.
movies. Like somehow I don't know.
I'm catching
how-
up to it.
Yeah. Okay, so for Ken, I put you down as Can't Hardly Wait.
Like that horny teenage romp.
Which is, by the way, Can't Hardly Wait. When I was like 14,
I like
that
that
was
had
my
that movie.
favorite
It was a
movie.
good movie.
I love that movie, dude.
I love that movie
Dude,
too.
Okay, Brendan, you. I mean, I put you down as super bad. I feel like you'd be super bad. Yeah.
I think so.
I didn't even attempt to deny that. I do draw a lot of dicks. Thank you.
Okay, I'll end with me. And I'll go to Clinton. Okay, so Clinton, this was hard because one, I knew you one time, like that one time we hung out, and I'm like really just guessing in the ether, tapping into like my subconscious. I don't know. I might be wrong. I put you down as Mean Girls. I kind of got only because every single time, not every single time, the one time we hung out. Like half the time, it was always like a zinger. It was always like something really clever that you said. So I just
I can be catty. I can be catty. On Wednesdays
it.
on
Own
Wednesdays I do wear pink. I'm not kidding.
okay. Here's where I put
Accept it, though.
myself.
Fetch isn't happening.
It's not happening. No, that's what my dog tells me usually every day. Like, Clinton, no, fetch is not happening.
Okay, so for me, I put one down that I think most people haven't heard of, but when I tell you the high concept, I feel like it's like that's sounds like a noosh kind of a thing. It's a Japanese teen movie called Summer Time Machine Blues. All you have to, dude, all you have to know with the plot is this: it's about a group of kids in like a summer school basically, and the air conditioner in their club room doesn't work. They lost the remote control. Like literally, they can just turn it on, but they don't have the remote control. So they find a time machine on campus.
Why wouldn't it be on campus?
So they use the time machine to go back in time to steal the remote control from themselves. And and by the way, they handle time travel really well. Like everything makes sense in the scope of the story. Even the time machine appearing. But like, yeah.
But if they go back in time to steal the remote from themselves, they prevented themselves from having the remote in the first place.
Right. They stole it from themselves to have it in the future. They stole from the past to give to the future.
Since we're on the thing of teen movies, Not Another Teen Movie was filmed at Ken and I's high school.
Oh.
And there was a naked chick in our principal's office.
Where? Who? Which
That
one?
is one of my favorite movies of all time.
That was filmed at our high school.
I actually saw Not Another Teen Movie. I loved it. I didn't get half the references. So I spent a summer watching every single movie.
all the teen movies.
And that's why I can actually relate to this conversation as opposed to a few weeks ago.
Dude,
It was
I
all
picked
about
a great topic.
things that I didn't even know
I'm
about.
telling you, man, I'm tapped into the ethers. Like I know the
And
best.
actually, I remember finding out about the casting call for the movie, and I was actually going to go out and try out for the movie, not knowing it was Not Another Teen Movie.
I would have killed to be at your high school to be in that movie. Like that's my dream when I was in high school. Like I want to make life like a teen movie. I want to be Seth Green.
That's the movie that made me fall in love with Chris Evans.
Oh, nice.
Oh, well.
He is
Like
very
sexually?
dreamy.
I mean, just looking at him makes you fall in love. I mean, just those eyes, you know.
Of all the
Yeah.
Chris's
You
in
lose
Hollywood,
yourself.
he is pretty dreamy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
you know what?
my Chris
Take
though
a
is Chris
banana,
Pratt.
but-
I also like that he's a giver. I heard in the Captain America 2 movie, there's a scene where he's like wearing like a shirt and he's like flexing, holding the helicopter, but he was really pushing to be shirtless. He wanted to like give a show. You know?
Thank you. Can I just say thank you?
On behalf
He's
of
a giver.
everyone,
He's
thank
a
you.
giver. Well, Clinton Downs is our guest today. So Clinton, tell us a little bit about yourself. Whatever you want to share, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Clinton. I like long walks on the beach. No, my name's Clinton. I live with my husband in West Hollywood because we're that gay. We got a little dog. His name is Norbin. He's adorable. He's
what
a
is
little
he?
mutt.
Okay,
Little
so
brown mutt.
yeah.
He's like a Chihuahua, but a little bit of Shiba thrown in there for fun. I'm originally from Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I moved down here 4 years ago,
Cool.
and
Do you regret your decision?
You're right. Traffic's pretty bad here.
Never.
I mean, so it's really funny because I was born and raised in Portland, and now everyone's like, "Oh, I want to go to Portland because it's such a cool city," and I'm like, "Oh, fuck that!" Like, and I don't want to be all hipster about it, but I was there, living there when it was like getting all super trendy, and I was like, okay, that's happening. All right, I'm just gonna be over here living my life. And then it got super, super trendy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't handle these people, and I had to leave because that was the world that I was raised in was not the Portland that exists now, or even like years ago. It was like what people are going there for hasn't existed there in many years, and it sucks now. You go back up there, and it's basically housing is about the same as it is here. Traffic is about the same as it is here, and the people are all just trying.
I'm talking with my sister, and she's been talking with her friends. I think there's going to be like a mass exodus of people leaving LA to go up to like Washington and Oregon. and stuff like
There
that.
already
It's
is.
happening.
One of
It's
my good
happening.
friends already moved up there.
Well, flashback to the 90s after the earthquakes in the 90s. There literally was even in like the 70s. There like Angelinos and Californians moving to Oregon has been the scourge of Portland. The governor of Oregon put up a sign on the border. This is not a joke. Put up a sign on the border. Welcome to Oregon. No, you're entering Oregon. You're welcome to visit, but please don't stay. It said that on the side of the I-5.
Wow.
Our topic for today is cults. I'll throw this out there. I mean, the cults are a spectrum. There's like the really dark, dark cults. Like some really, but we're gonna try to focus on the other side of that spectrum, the really ridiculous, funny ones.
Just remember, don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Because it might be poisoned.
Yes.
It might not be.
Most of the time it wasn't.
Just
Okay.
takes that one chance.
Okay, so my story is about the Ryalism cult. This cult has good things about it. They've done good, but they got some crazy too. You gotta have a little crazy in there. All right, so first, the origin of Claude Vorilhon. He's French. I don't know how to say his name.
You have to like do it in the throat, like.
Vorilhon. Listen, I don't know how to do French. I mean, like I that is not my
Just
territory.
look at it, skip a bunch of consonants, and you're good.
Oh,
And say,
Vorion.
after.
Vorion.
Vorion.
Dude, good tip, Ken. Coach of the year, Claude Vorion. So, Claude was a boy growing up in France who dreamed of being a race car driver. Remember that. At age 15, he ran away from home and hitchhiked to Paris. He spent 3 years there playing music on the street and in cabarets to survive. Okay, so he's like a street urchin doing the music thing, right? He met Lucien Maurice, the director of the national radio, who signed him on to perform on the radio. He became a rising teen pop star in the 60s using the stage name Claude Seller.
Okay.
He actually had 6 albums. His dream, though, was still to one day be a race car driver. His pop star dream came to an end when Lucien Maurice committed suicide.
What?
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, that was so selfish of you, Lucien. Killed a boy's dream. But in order to stay close to the race circuit, he became a race car journalist.
Okay.
He also started an auto racing magazine called Autopop, which is the perfect name for a pop star
He's
auto
just
journalist.
melding it together.
Yeah. During this time, he also married his first wife, Marie Paul Christini, who was a nurse who diagnosed him as depressed. So,
Okay.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Happens.
So now on to the origins of this religious cult, Ryalism. And by the way, I want you to know, I did a lot of research into this. This origin I'm about to tell you is from their religious texts, which I read. I actually went and I read, I didn't read in detail all of it. Some sections I really read and took notes on. Other sections I kind of skimmed.
Yeah.
But I did read their religious texts. I can't remember the name of one of them, but the second one was called Intelligent Design.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. But how many pages in total would you say their religious texts are?
I mean, it was not long. It was
Okay.
like maybe 300 to 400, something like that. It was not very long. It's not biblical. Okay, so on December 13th, 1973, Claude was a 27-year-old living south of Paris. While on the way to work one morning, he met an alien named Yahweh.
Of course.
We're starting off with that.
Gotta start strong.
Yeah. The alien was 4 feet tall and had skin that was, quote, white with a slightly greenish tinge, a bit like someone with liver trouble.
Oh, yeah.
That's
From
okay.
the religious text.
All right.
I had jaundice once.
Can't he get his wife to help with liver trouble?
What?
His
His wife is a nurse.
Yeah,
I mean,
couldn't she come help?
He should have taken the alien
Yeah.
to the nurse.
What kind of religion is this?
So the alien invited him back to his UFO, which was parked on a volcano at the nature park called Puy de las Solas. The inside of the UFO had shag carpeting.
Of course it did. It is
What?
the 70s.
Shag carpeting?
Yeah.
You don't think Shag reached all the way up
It
to
had
the
shag
outer
carpeting.
space?
Yahweh revealed to Claude that the alien race called the Elohim created humans 25,000 years ago using advanced biotechnology and cloning. Apparently, the Elohim will return to Earth one day, and Claude will have to spread their message to humanity to prepare for their arrival. Only people who were open-minded enough to accept the message of the Elohim were able to go to the planet of the Elohim and live forever. Some of these people are Jesus, the Buddha, Moses, and the Prophet Muhammad. So they all were enlightened and they went to the planet of the Elohim.
The Elohim.
Claude returns to his normal life. and starts to spread the word of the Elohim. He gains a few converts, but the religion doesn't spread that far. Yahweh visits him again 2 years later, on October 7th, 1975, and takes him to the planet of the Elohim, which I like to call, this is not in the text, but I like to call it Eloha. I mean, that is like,
Oh, I see what you did there.
it is the most appropriate name. So everyone on Eloha gets to live for 700 years and have biological robots do their every whim.
Okay.
For your clarification, biological robots are robots that are made of artificial flesh instead of metal. So it's like artificial flesh, but not metal.
Yeah.
So they're like humans, basically. They're squishy.
They're
Squishy
squishy
robots.
robots.
This sounds like a weird first draft of like Slaughterhouse 5 or something like that.
Dude, doesn't it kind of feel
I
like
was going
Vonnegut?
with Blade Runner.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
kind of has a little bit of that. Yeah, it's sci-fi. I mean, this is he's tapping into that, like, what's it called? L. Ron Hubbard School of Religion.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
A little bit of
It's out.
Westworld.
Yeah, oh, there you go. Okay, that's squishy robots. That's
Squishy
right.
robots.
That's good. Okay.
Squishy robots.
So everyone
Hashtag.
on Eloha gets everyone on Eloha gets 10 robot servants. The population of Eloha, for your information, is 90,000, including the robots, which
Okay.
means there's like 900 people then, I guess, right? On Eloha? No, 9,000. There's
9,000.
9,000 people on Eloha. So
Slightly less, but yeah.
yeah. So daily life on Eloha, people basically just they do the whole heavenly thing, but more science-y.
What's the whole heavenly thing?
They just chill and they do science experiments, they paint, they do sculptures, they play with virtual reality, and they have sex with robots.
Wait, is this after you're dead or during?
This is after the Eloha come to take you to the planet of the Eloha.
So technically,
For
you're not
Elohim.
dead. You're still living, but you're in their planet.
But in a way you're dead because they change your body so you can like live, for a long
I wish
time.
people could see that you're just
Man,
like wiggling
I'm
around.
shaking
You're
my
just
body,
like,
yeah. That's immortality, baby.
Wait,
It's the shakes.
now I could live for 800 years, but I'm gonna do science every day.
Well, if you like. So
And
It's
have
it's sort
sex with squishy robots. Don't forget that.
that's
That's
where
the
most
important
people
part.
would be.
Yeah.
I mean,
My-
why
my-
do science when the Elohim
My
can do
only
that for
question
you?
is, do you get to pick out what type of squishy robots you want?
Oh.
oh, do you
want?
get to design it?
Yeah, do you get a design? It's like I like this kind of
That's,
squishy robot.
that's
Oh.
the science part.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have no idea what we're gonna go into right now.
I sort of feel like sitting around doing science experiments and arts and crafts and all this stuff. It sort of sounds like college in a way, like,
Yeah,
but
I
without
mean,
the grades.
Is there a
Yeah.
binge drinking session?
If you want.
you could do whatever you want on Eloha.
There's no way you could do whatever you want. It would be madness. I
Well,
tell
yeah,
you.
actually, on the topic, there is one thing you can't do on Eloha.
What?
Everyone on Eloha has to be sterilized. No one gets to have babies on Eloha. No babies. Everyone's an adult.
So how do they get more humans every
They
700
bring them
years?
from Earth.
Hey, you guys ever watch like Twilight Zone growing up? Remember,
yeah.
we're gonna take you to some awesome planet, and then
Yeah.
they figure out there were food. Is it like that?
to serve man.
feels like it.
It's
yeah.
a cookbook.
It's a cookbook for man.
Well,
Well, too late for me now. I'm gonna eat lunch pretty soon.
by the way, speaking of eating, Claude, while he was on the planet, did get to have brunch with Jesus, Buddha, and the God Squad.
Man,
Did they
that's
take
like,
Did they take a picture for
didn't,
posterity?
didn't happen.
Now,
no picture didn't
if,
happen.
If they did, he's not showing us. Claude's not showing us.
Jesus turned the water into mimosas.
Dude, that's all you need. Take a selfie, send it to everybody. Look, Jesus.
Well, but this is before selfies.
This was 1975. There
Yeah.
were
Dude,
Polaroids.
Dude, they had a spaceship
Yeah.
that went there. Okay,
true.
they had a spaceship that
I
went
mean,
there.
Squishy
I mean-
robot.
They had squishy robots. They have.
It's
these-
true.
these-
If you have squishy robots, you should have selfies.
Yeah.
That's like a rule. So Yahweh shows him advanced technology, including the cloning machines and the robot making machines.
oh my gosh, this is the Twilight Zone episode.
And selfies.
It is.
It's around this time that the story starts to sound like a porno.
What? Starts?
Yeah, starts.
Starts?
Wait, has this already been starting like sounding like a porno?
I think the shag carpeting was kind of the start.
Please
Oh,
continue
okay.
with this porno.
So
4-foot tall green man started the porno. I don't know about you.
It wasn't a man. It was a penis.
A circle.
it's a circle of dicks.
It's a phallus. It's a circle of dicks.
So Yahweh's robot butler asks Claude, "Would you like some female companions?"
Yes.
Claude, being the slick journalist pop star he is, gives a non-committal why not? By the way,
we can't seem too eager.
By the way, even among aliens, robots, and gods, Claude is presented in this origin story of the religion as too cool for this religion, basically.
Of course, yeah.
So the butler shows Claude the robot-making machine. He says previous research on humanity allows the machine to create one of 3 types of ideal woman, based on the opinion of the majority of Earth's population. So they scanned everybody on Earth, and they're like, all right, this machine can make the most quote-unquote ideal woman, according
Okay.
to everyone, right? So, by the way, also, I think we got this, but I want to be clear, extra clear. These are sex robots. These are sex robots. You don't make a robot squishy unless it's squish, squish, squish.
Hey, Courtney, remember we were talking about this?
We were talking
like in
about
Japan, they make these like sex
Oh,
robots.
yeah. They're creepy.
Yeah.
And there's more than 3 choices too. You get like many
The
choices.
Japanese are ahead of the Elohim.
I know.
Maybe they are the Elohim.
The Japanese, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Japanese.
Sex robot?
I could see that.
I mean, they're all. I was gonna say something really shitty. I was gonna say something really
It costs as
shitty.
much as like a subcompact
I was
Kia.
about to make a short joke, the 4-foot tall joke, but I really shouldn't talk. I'm Asian and I'm short also. But
Speak for yourself, you jackass.
okay, so the robot making machine first makes a brunette white woman. She
Oh.
materializes inside of this glowing cube that's floating off the ground. So it's very like Blade Runner. It's like very sci-fi, like
Yeah.
cube floating woman inside. She's naked, whatever. She shakes her ass.
She's waving her hands
Yeah.
just like you did
Who's a
there.
good
Yeah.
Well, she shakes her ass and shows off her body to Claude. That's pointed out. She's
Okay.
like shaking it. Claude claims she is perfect in every way and wouldn't change anything about her.
Except.
Next,
Except.
he wouldn't change anything. Next, the robot makes a blonde woman and a redheaded woman. Both of them are different, but as perfect as the brunette woman.
Okay.
Everybody has a look on their face, and I kind of had the same look when I was reading this. I'm going to address that, but follow me here. So, blonde, a brunette, a blonde, and a redhead.
Walk into a bar.
So, Claude is satisfied with his 3 female sex robots. He looked upon his work, and it was good. It literally was described like that. Like, he looked upon his work, and it was good.
So only white women, huh?
Next, the robot gives him some freebies.
Okay.
Quote, this is in there. I quote, I answered quite naturally that I thought these 3 people were extraordinary. At that moment, a magnificent black woman appeared in the cube. Then
Hey.
a very fine, slender Chinese female. And then finally, another voluptuous young Asian woman, which by his definition, Asian's like Indian, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh.
Asian woman appeared.
There's a Courtney in there.
There's a Courtney in there. The butler asks him which of the 6 women he prefers. He says he prefers all of them.
I cannot
That's
turn,
the
I cannot
right
turn away
choice.
any of my
Always the
creations.
best choice.
Quote, the robot butler went toward the robot making machine and spoke for a moment with one of his peers. Then the machine was set in motion and I understood what was about to happen. A few minutes later, I was back at my residence with my 6 companions. Dude, the robot butler basically spoke to his supervisor and got approval to give the creepy-ass French pop star all 6 naked robots.
Oh my god.
Bound chicka wow.
Leave it to the French.
This is a good porno movie.
Like, the thing that I thought was, like, when I was reading this religious text, the thing that I was like, this is bullshit. When 75% of the world is non-white and 1 out of 4 people are either Chinese or Indian. Like, you have a 1 out of 4 chance to be Chinese or Indian. Alien supercomputer scans every human mind on the planet and came to the conclusion that a brunette, a blonde, and a redhead were the ideal type of woman for every person on the planet, man and woman on the planet.
Yeah.
Lies.
Anyway, the robot butler then shows him 2 types of helmets. First, one...
Where is this story going? I have no idea.
Helmets.
He already has his sex robots, right? So he's good there. So
Wait,
shows
helmet.
him-
Wait, helmet for which head?
Oh my god, we have a...
Well, is he sterile yet?
No, they haven't
The
sterilized
girls
him yet.
not-
No. He's
So
in the
needs a
trying out
helmet.
process.
Yeah, he needs a helmet. I mean, they
Well, I suppose
should-
the robots, the female robots, are I'm sure sterile.
Well,
they're
it's like you guys
They
buying
don't have periods.
you guys know buying a timeshare, right? You gotta sample the stuff first, and then they'll sell you in.
he opens the walk-in closet and it's just 10,000 condoms.
Oh my god.
Okay, so 2 types of actual head helmets. The first one,
You didn't specify.
the first one,
Top head helmets.
Cranium.
Cranium.
Cranial helmet.
Cranial protection.
So the first one can make music using your own imagination.
Okay.
That sounds scary.
It's like the music in your head.
So he plays music using his mind, and then, quote, then my 6 adorable companions began dancing to my music in a most voluptuous and bewitching way.
That's like creating your own like soundtrack, and I just
Yeah.
think of Family Guy like riding on the bus. I'm riding on the bus.
but for him, it's more like bam, 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 like, and then the women are just like,
Just shaking
I
it.
mean, it's like a weird 70s porno. Like they're just kind of like
This
doing
is Austin
weird...
Powers.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is very
That's really
Austin
all I
Powers.
can think about.
Yeah.
Shag carpet included.
He then tries on a second helmet that creates projections of whatever images you are thinking about. So it's like,
Oh, no.
takes your images in your head, projects them. So I want to point this out. While surrounded by 6 naked sex robots, quote, I started thinking about my grandmother and she appeared on the screen.
Oh my god.
I'm going to let you decide what that means.
This person has issues.
This
I
is,
mean,
wow.
Clearly, this is who I want
Okay.
pounding my religion.
So he ends his visit to this technological and spiritual planet with an orgy. Quote, finally, after a while, I went to bed and spent the most extravagant night of my life with my marvelous female companions. And he did go on the record in the book and in interviews to claim that he did come that night. So
That's an
he's-
important and very important
he
fact to know.
claims that is a fact. That happened.
How many times?
Hopefully 6, I guess.
I don't know, one for each. This is pretty much Austin Powers. Remember the fembots?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Do they shoot bullets out of their?
So here are the beliefs of Rylism, right? This is what
Because there's more.
religion
Oh, there's
believes
more.
in. Oh my god, I have so many notes here. So this
Sex
is what
robots,
they believe
orgies.
in. First, one of their beliefs is that Jewish people are half aliens.
Of course. Of course
Makes
they
so
are.
much sense.
what?
So
Where?
Yahweh says that Jewish people are the genetic descendants of Elohim who mated with humans. Literally, scientists who got too close to their subjects.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The reason Jewish people have been persecuted throughout history is that humanity subconsciously senses that they're aliens. It is a critical part of this religion. One of their goals is to build a Raelian embassy in Jerusalem to save Israel from the coming judgment. If they can build an embassy in Jerusalem, Jesus, Moses, Buddha, and Muhammad will all return to Earth, which to me
And throw a major rager.
to me, that sounds more like a dare than a religious commandment. like what's gonna happen when all 4 of them come back?
Well, if they bring some sex robots, I'm gonna go start building an embassy. I don't know.
It's gonna start coming down. Like Jesus is
Okay,
going down.
so
down
first
there.
things first, let's start a GoFundMe page. Let's do that. Get that taken care of.
What is? Do we? I'm sure we get to it, but what's the state of Rylism currently?
Oh yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I'm pretty sure
It's a lot better than you realize. Like for what I've talked about, it's way better than you think.
pretty sure Buddha, Jesus, and Muhammad's gonna come down. It was like, who believes in us? And we're like, here. It's like, okay, you get a sex robot. You get a sex robot. Everybody gets a sex robot.
Everybody gets 10 sex robots. That's the actual the number.
I'm not
We get
greedy.
10.
I'll probably go with 3.
We get 10 robots.
Yeah. Oh, that's
We
true.
get to choose how many
That's
sex
true.
robots.
Maybe
we want.
one's a butler robot. You gotta have a butler robot. That's
I
true.
want my butler robot to also be a sex robot.
I mean, I kind of feel the same way. Just they all dabble. They're Renaissance robots. They do a little bit of everything.
I'm not greedy. I don't need the 10 robots.
Okay, so the other. Yeah. go ahead.
So real quick check in
Yeah.
on this. So say my husband and I, would we each get 10 robots?
Yes, you would.
So
Each
we would have
individual.
20
an army of
dude sex robots.
Yeah.
That is a circle of dicks. That would be a great circle of dicks.
How would you like them to look like anyway? Chris Evans?
No, well the problem
Well,
is
that would be at least 3 of them.
that's what I was gonna say. The first 3 are gonna be Chris Evans. After that, you can start experimenting.
Then we'll branch out.
Now that I mention it, I think I want at least one Chris Evans just to be there, just a roundabout. You want a roundabout experience.
I would want a Gosling or a Chris Evans just to get lost in the eyes. Like every once in a while, just I want to look in their eyes, and be like, oh yeah, life is great.
Right. I'll only get a Gosling if I could get an Emma Stone.
Gosling.
Gosling and Emma Stone. And I was like, oh, it's a package deal now.
But just don't put that with the one where you have the helmet that plays the music, because then they're going to sing along and it's going to be bad.
It's quite complicated, this religion.
It is. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of
So many choices.
Oh, by the way, I mean, right now where we are, you've seen how far we've come. We go places you don't even imagine yet. We're not even there yet.
How do you join this religion?
All right,
Brandon's
so,
now taking
let's,
notes.
let's hunker
'cause I
down.
think we're all
Okay.
kind of
Let's
sold
get through
on it
this.
at this point.
So,
There's a lot to learn.
so next, they believe in sexual freedom. All sex is considered good and a path to enlightenment. Only through joyous exploration of all sexual experiences can a person grow. Raelian meetings have no dress code, so some people wear little to no clothing. Many people claim that some Raelian meetings end with an orgy. They claim this. In fact, some sex tourists in Asia like to go to Raelian meetings to get laid for free.
Why not?
Because it's so difficult to do that otherwise.
So I have a theory. This is my new theory. I believe, and this theory applies for any sex-driven religion like the Raelian religion.
There are so many of them.
I believe. Well,
Actually,
there's
funny
also
you should mention that.
there's an opposite thing. There's so many of those. But there's also many of like the really like nah, everybody's celibate.
Yeah.
Everybody wears a weird mullet. You know. Okay, so I believe that for any sex-driven religion, orgies are a spectrum. What I mean is, you can have X number of naked people at a meeting, and there won't be an orgy. X number, everybody's fine. Everybody's doing their thing. It's a normal everyday. Hey, who's taking notes? You know, it's a normal meeting. But if you have that X plus one number of naked people, it's a tipping point. It just pushes the whole meeting over the edge. Ripple effect. It just starts like cascading down to all right, the orgy's gonna happen. Basically, I describe it like this. It's that one guy who shows up at the party with drinks and says, "Let's get fucked up." It's that, which I've done. Dude, one time I was hanging out with Ryan. I wish Ryan was here for this. One time I was hanging out with Ryan and his girlfriend at the time. We were just hanging out. They were like, "Oh yeah, let's get some drinks. Let's drink and have a good time." And I was like, "Guys, I don't know. I gotta drive home. It's a long drive, and I think I'm gonna go home." So I left. I left the house. I was whatever. I was driving the freeway, and then eventually I was like, "Nah, you know what? I went to a liquor store. I bought a bunch of booze, rang their doorbell. He opened the door, and I'm like, "Let's get fucked up." It was great. So that's the X plus one. That's the cascading. Like that one person.
It just
pushes
takes one.
The instigator.
Instigator.
So I have known that person
Okay.
for orgies.
It's real.
I had a friend in college, and they would hang, and every time she showed up, shit would go down. And it was never, like, when she wasn't around, those same people could do the same things, and it wouldn't happen. But then all of a sudden she showed up, and like, I don't know,
Yeah.
all of a sudden it was a circle of dicks.
Oh, yeah.
And her.
It all comes back to that.
And her.
And her.
In the middle of it.
Funny story, she never joined.
Oh, she liked to watch.
No, well, I mean, she was
Or did
just
she just
in the
leave?
room.
She came and left.
Well,
In
she
more
didn't-
than one way.
She didn't come and left. No, there's too many stories to tell about. But yeah, moving on. I've known, and I would agree
Yeah.
that is definitely you can have a almost orgy a lot, but
Yeah.
there's really, you need that that person to just like, I don't even know.
Well, the other thing they also promote is they promote sex-positive education for children instead of abstinence fear-based education. So they believe children should be taught not to be like afraid of sex or like whatever. They should be taught to like, oh, this is your body, enjoy it. You know, that's
The
sort of thing.
correct way to teach children.
Exactly. Don't make them scared. Next, they're also like staunch feminists. Raelians believe that women should not be ashamed of their bodies. Women should be able to make decisions about their bodies and should have the right to go topless just like men. This is an interesting fact, many of the topless parades, events, and national days throughout the world are either hosted by or attended by Raelians.
So it's like Naked Bike Day. Is that like
Naked by Day?
Bike.
Naked Bike Day? I don't know, it could be. But pretty much any topless women days, they have their hand somewhere in there.
As a Portlander
Yes.
who's seen the naked bike ride go,
I've seen it in Brighton.
I've seen it go from like a few dozen people to hundreds of people.
That's what-
I have no idea.
I was with my friend. We went down because when I lived in Brighton, and we went down. We're like, oh, we're gonna sit in front of the palace and we're gonna like just read and everything. And so we're reading on the grass.
You didn't expect the naked bike?
Did not know it was happening. And
surprise.
all of a sudden, from off in the distance, we hear, and we're like, what the hell is that? And then dozens of people on rollerblades and bikes, men and women, fat and old and skinny, everyone of every different kind, just riding by fully naked.
That is the soundtrack of a naked bike race, I feel like.
It
that
was just
feels
like
do it again.
And then we went to go get something to eat. And when we came out, we couldn't cross the street because they were all coming in front of us. So I got a full view of everything.
Wait, they were coming in front of you?
Well,
No, not
arriving.
They were arriving.
We gotta use the word come really carefully
They
in
were
this
riding
episode.
past me.
Oh, okay.
I remember turning to my friend. I'm like, I have never seen so many dicks in my life. I was just like,
It's
whoa.
a circle of
Circle of dick.
Okay, so other things. So they're pro-LGBTQ rights. They're anti-war, anti-Catholic Church. They're pro-GMO foods. They're pro-geniocracy, which means they believe the government should be run by intelligent people and scientists only.
Now we're going into like Brave New World territory. I
They're
feel.
like Ayn Rand
very
kind
much
of things.
so.
Yeah.
Very much
Yeah.
Brave New World.
Yeah.
So they're also pro-cloning.
Oh yeah, this is Brave
Yeah,
New
this is
World.
now we're getting So they believe the Elohim have the DNA of every person who ever existed inside of a supercomputer. Good people should be cloned to live forever. Bad people should be cloned to be punished. And people who are neither good nor bad should not be cloned. They believe that the Garden of Eden was a laboratory on an artificial continent. Noah's Ark was a spaceship that originally housed the DNA storing supercomputer. The Tower of Babel was a rocket meant to take humanity to Eloha. And the Great Flood was a series of nuclear missile strikes that the Elohim sent to destroy the earth.
Yeah, sounds like Final Fantasy.
I mean,
Close
for,
enough.
for a peaceful race, nuclear bombs. Jeez.
So why was the Earth so bad that it had to be bombed?
They don't even. Honestly, they didn't go into that, so I don't know. But I think this is one of those things where he's just
I
like,
think you learned that in Sunday school.
This is like the Bible thing where he's like, oh, yeah, the Garden of Eden was this was this. He was just kind of like
Yeah.
tying it all back to the Bible,
yeah.
you know. Next, the infinite. So they believe that our universe exists inside of an atom, and inside of us are atoms, and inside of those atoms are other universes ad infinitum. So
Okay.
it's just universe. We are universes, I guess, is what they're saying.
Now we're going into Men in Black
Dude,
territory.
I mean, honestly, I feel
gonna say
like
that.
they drew a lot of these beliefs out of a hat. Like it's just kind of like all over the place, you know?
Just throw darts at the board.
What I'm learning also from this is Rick and Morty is not all that creative. Ultimately, they're kind of pulling from philosophies of cults.
So the last thing I want to tell you guys about is for this subject of the beliefs, I want to tell you guys about the symbol of Raelism. And I'm going to tell you right off the back and for our listeners, this is going to sound fucked up, dude. This is
Everything else hasn't so far.
Dude, this is like, I read this and I was like, this cannot be real.
Oh, I
So-
think I know.
Yeah,
From what I read, I
yeah.
think I know what you're.
Before I even go into this, literally, I have to pad this a little bit just to make it sound less bad, but it's going to sound bad regardless. I want to start off by talking about the swastika.
Okay, do that.
So the swastika used to be an ancient Indian symbol that meant harmony, peace, and prosperity. It was meant to have represented a galaxy or a comet, the stellar universe, I guess. It was a peaceful symbol before the Nazis co-opted it.
So can I tell you that
Yeah.
one of my students, she was learning about something, and I'm like, oh yeah, the swastika actually is an ancient, it's a Hindu symbol. It meant peace, and then before the Nazis took it over, and of course she hadn't learned about the Nazis yet. So what she did, whatever her project was, she then drew a border of swastikas around
Oh
her
my
paper.
gosh. Okay, so we've established, right, the origin of the swastika. The symbol for Raelism, dude, it's a swastika inside of a Jewish Star of David. Yeah.
Oh my.
So it's the Jewish Star of David with the swastika in the center.
in the center of it.
And this was started by a French guy.
Yeah. They say they want to redeem the symbol again, but dude, every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, this is like messed up. This is messed up. By the
in
way,
it.
I'll say this, that the symbol is so offensive that, I mean, definitely Jerusalem's like, you're not putting an embassy. You're not putting an embassy down here. But dude, they even tried to go to like some of the neighboring like Middle Eastern countries that are more Muslim than Jewish. And even they were like, we're not touching this. They were like, we're not touching this. Okay, so after his trip to Eloha, Claude goes back to Earth. Yahweh gives Claude a new last name, Rael. So his new name is Claude Rael.
Okay.
He grows a man bun.
Of
So
course.
Of course.
That's,
Of course.
he claims that the man bun is actually an antenna that allows him to telepathically communicate with the Elohim.
Now, whenever I see a man bun, that's
Yeah.
all I'm gonna
That's-
think of.
We're gonna
It's an
have to.
antenna.
I'm like alien. Antenna.
Raelian.
Raelian.
Take me to your sex robots.
He was laughed out of France
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
probably the man bun mostly, but everything else too. So he went to Canada, where they would accept him. Sorry, Brendan. He built the headquarters of Raelism near Montreal, and the place is called UFO Land. So the
Very
Great, I could
clever.
drive there.
the headquarters are UFO Land. By the way, guess which is the country where Raelism blew up and has the most followers in the world?
United States.
Japan.
Yes, it's Japan. Of course, it's Japan.
It's the sex robots.
Sex robots.
So sex robots. No, but the fastest growing major religion in Japan is Mormonism.
Oh.
And it's
Oh.
like super tiny, but the part of it is that the Japanese haven't had a lot of people coming in with different sets of religions, and one of the core Japanese religions of Shintoism is very applicable to other
Yeah.
religion, so you can be Shinto and Christian in a way. And there's a lot of people over there that are going to be very restricted in their body. They've got body issues, and so running around naked and
Yeah.
being all happy about that, and being pro-sex
Yeah.
and pro-gay and pro-experimentalism and also pro-science and pro-technology. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty darn Japanese, right there.
Yeah.
I've seen enough porn.
So yeah, I mean it is true. The second place, by the way, is Korea. So it's Japan and Korea that have the highest populations of Raelists. The first state-recognized Raelian temple is in Narita, Japan, called Korindo. So it's the first actual temple of Raelism, and not like a building. It's like a straight up, like it looks like a Japanese temple.
Is it in the shape of a swastika?
Probably. I mean, there's probably a swastika there because
That's a symbol.
By the way, I want to show you guys this. The Japanese, I mean, the thing about the Japanese is they make mascots for everything.
Yeah.
So Raelism has a mascot, and I'd like to show you
Oh my
what
God.
the mascot looks like. I'll turn the thing this way if you guys can see it. Sorry, Brendan, you have to look it up later. That's
I
the.
Googled it.
He's got the swastika.
He has a swastika
Star
and he's
David.
blonde.
Well, he's not blonde. He's got a
and
helmet.
It's blue.
Oh, it's a helmet?
I thought it
It's
was
a
supposed to be green.
Right. It's supposed to be like greenish tinge, but
You know
it's a
what?
blue alien. The Japanese.
back.
He has a bow tie. He's got a bow tie going on too.
I will say this about that swastika inside of a Star of David. It is less. It doesn't immediately slap you and say swastika.
Yeah.
Like it kind of is a jumble of lines, and you're like, "There's
Yeah.
kind of a Star of David, and what's that in this?" Oh,
It's stylized. Yeah.
oh.
I kind of like it.
The
Yeah.
bow tie tops it off, though.
bow tie,
Like,
he's
they're
a very
ready.
polite,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're ready.
So,
Okay.
so just for our listeners, because Raelism is a slightly difficult word to figure out. How do you spell this?
Raelism.
Raelism.
I think
So
that-
realism, but flipped.
Yeah, exactly. The E and the A are flipped.
Because
That's
reality is
The
flipped.
reality is flipped. Good. Okay, so
Yeah,
kind of getting to some of the questions you had, Clinton.
The
Oh,
E has the umlaut, right? The two dots.
Yeah, it does. It has the umlaut. He's French. I mean, of course. So in total, they claim there are 50,000 Raelians worldwide in over 84 countries. However, outside estimates are that the number is about 19,000 active Raelians. So if there are 50,000, they might be like, they're like Sunday Raelians or like
They're
Christmas
on the email
Raelians.
list.
Yeah, they're on the email list. But there's 19,000 active Raelians going to rallies and
Okay.
things like that, and the meetings, all that. So Claude has been preaching about Raelism for more than 30 years. In particular, more so than men, a lot of women are drawn to Raelism. He's had 3 wives in his life. His most recent wife was Sophie de Niverville. I cannot pronounce that in French. Sophie de Niverville, who was 16 when he married her with her parents' permission. She's 30 now, and she became like a model and everything,
Yeah.
but she was 16 when they got married. Her parents were royalists,
Right, yeah.
and they married their daughter off. Claude has a king-size bed in his office at work
That's the dream.
with white tiger print bed sheets.
Of
my
course.
Yes.
And shag carpet, right? Shag carpet?
They didn't mention.
Please,
You can only
please,
assume. You can only
please.
assume. But what he does have
In my head, he
aside from
does.
that is artsy nude modeling portraits of his wife Sophie on the walls. So he's got the
Okay.
white tiger print, king size bed, artsy nude photos of his wife. Just imagine being like the contractor coming in to like do it like a job or like discuss a contract
Oh,
in
man.
this office.
There's totally shag carpeting, I think. You
There's-
can't have tiger
yeah.
striped sheets without shag carpeting.
For sure.
So next, Rael's Angels.
Oh my god.
Claude starts
no.
inducting the women in the cult into a group called the Order of Angels. It's basically like being a nun, but more sexual.
Dude, this
Oh,
guy
like
just,
Charlie's Angels.
This guy just like took Hugh Hefner
Yeah.
and like just upped the game a million times.
Made it more spiritual and religious.
Yeah.
Theocracy plus you.
Yeah.
So there are 3 levels in the Order of Angels. First level is Angel. These are women who will act as hostesses to the Elohim when they arrive on Earth. So they're just
Thank
they
you.
promise.
Welcome to the planet.
Yeah, they live a normal life, but when the Elohim finally come, they'll give up whatever life they have, and they'll become hostesses to the Elohim.
I forsake my life.
Yeah,
Sex humans.
So
no, they're just hostesses.
so
Just
put-
hostess.
they're
so-
just hostesses.
so they're like the Naval Reserve. So they
Yeah.
don't.
The Naval Reserve. So one level up is the Golden Ribbons. The Golden Ribbons are women who will do anything to please the Elohim and their prophet, especially offering sexual gratification. That's you gotta have an entry level that's just like, oh, just
Right.
hostess. But then you have the, all right, so we're gonna fuck, right? You gotta have that level.
It's the friend zone. The angels are just in the friend zone.
Yeah.
And then they've got to like get out of the
Yeah.
friend zone.
Yeah. So there's actually a level above Golden Ribbons. That level is the Chosen. And the Chosen are women who will forsake that part of their life, and they will only specifically engage in sexual activity with the Elohim and their prophet. I want to
Okay.
emphasize the Elohim currently in this modern age are still on Eloha. So the only person the angels
Is
have to
the
please
prophet.
is the prophet Claude.
What a life.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only one they have to think about right now.
You know, I think it's a burden he's willing to bear.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It's a,
I mean,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
good on Sophie that
Yeah,
she's willing
exactly.
to be okay with that.
He is saving us from all of these.
Well, he's saving us from this whatever vague cloning apocalypse judgment that's coming. We don't know what it means.
I'm still not quite certain what I would be fearing if
Yeah.
I was in this religion. I'm not quite sure.
I mean, the worst thing that can happen in this religion is brunch with Jesus. So, I mean, I don't know. That's like literally like the most like kind of like, okay, well, hey, are we cool with this whole sex robot thing? You're here, I'm here. It's awkward lunch is the worst thing you can have.
That's pretty bad.
Are you allowed to have that relationship with Jesus?
He's there on Eloha, right?
Just be like, he comes and then like you talk about sex with Jesus.
By the way, I want you guys to all remember this for when I get to my story.
Oh, yeah. So, okay. Next is Rael's girl. So we have Rael's angels, but we also have Rael's girls.
His side angels.
Claude also organizes a coalition of Raelian sex workers to collectively be known as Rael's girls. They are they're sex workers who openly talk about being Raelians. So they promote they promote spirituality without sexual shame. So they're basically like, they work as sex workers, but if you want to talk about spirituality, they'll talk about Raelism.
Are you like missionaries?
I guess you can think about them as missionaries, but just
Yeah, one
you
kind
know.
of missionary.
I was going to say. They're really good in one position.
next, Clonade. Scientists
Oh, no.
say that advancements in human cloning is a challenge because it's difficult to find women who are willing to be donors or surrogates because the experimentation and the surgeries, the extractions are a little bit dangerous still,
Yeah.
or at least in the time of this Clonaid story. An American woman named Bridget Boslier started a company called Clonaid. Their goal was to clone children for couples who cannot have children.
Yeah.
Noble. And to unlock the key to human immortality. Claude and the Raelians supported the hell out of Clonaid. Many Raelian women lined up to offer themselves to be donors and surrogates. Basically, if it was hard for scientists to find like women who are willing to
Yeah.
be donors, Raelians were like, yeah, let's do it, cloning. In 2002, Clonaid claimed to have cloned the first human baby named Eve. Technologically, it was possible at the time considering the number of samples donated by Raelians, but many considered the announcement to be a hoax. By 2017, Clonaid and the Raelians claimed to have cloned 13 human babies. So this is still
Yeah.
going on to this day. Claude was banned from ever entering Korea for his support of illegal human cloning. Later, Claude started a new organization in Africa called Clitoraid.
Oh my god.
Oh no! That's,
It's a really bad.
There's so many jokes there.
I mean, I'll say this: their goal is kind of noble. The company would use its resources to rebuild the clitoris of women who are victims of clitoral mutilation
Yeah.
due to misogyny, because that's a rampant problem
Yeah.
there. So their whole goal was we're gonna use like surgeons will help you rebuild.
I mean,
that.
that part, okay.
Yeah, it's,
But the name,
noble.
though. But the
The
name.
name
name.
is
The name is terrible.
Clitoraid. I mean, you kind of think when I heard Clitoraid before I knew what it was about, I thought like this is gonna be like one of those Rael Angel weird
Yeah.
Order of Angels things, but yeah, no, it was.
I
kinda
thought it was.
noble.
I thought it was a
gonna be a
bev-
weird drink.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a beverage that like titillates you or something. I don't know.
Dude, that's really likely with this religion.
Yeah.
Later investigations by the Boston Globe and CBS have shown that Clonaid is just two people with a fancy website and a PO box in the Bahamas. And in the end, that's
Money
all it
laundering.
was.
Oh my god.
So I'll end with this. Claude did become a race car driver.
He achieved his dream.
Oh, you did. That's great.
In 1994, a group of wealthy Japanese and Europeans, Raelians, sponsored Claude in several international races. His best finishes were third place at Lime Rock with a Mosler Raptor and seventh place at Watkins Glen with a Viper GTS-R. This is my theory. I think Raelism was just Claude's long game to become a race car driver. The same way he's like, okay, I'm going to become a journalist to eventually become a race car driver. I think this whole thing was just him like, I'm going to become a race car driver.
So he just wanted funding to start a race car team.
Remember, this is before GoFundMe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true. That's
Exactly.
true. Yeah.
And it just took on a life of its
Yeah.
own.
And I mean, the other thing is just, like, Raelism is not a small fringe cult religion. It is huge. It's all over the world, and it's growing. And
Yeah.
This
And then
Yeah.
this
Scientology-
feels a little bit more like lighthearted than
Yeah.
Scientology.
Yeah.
I feel like more people are gonna like this religion. It's just a bunch
mean-
of. It's pretty much just a bunch of swingers.
This is what happens when a religion is founded by a French man.
so,
Oh, okay.
Courtney, what do you got for us?
All right. So I didn't do as much research as yours was, but I
fine. I
think
took up
I
literally
think
the
it was
whole
still
episode.
pretty interesting. So let's go to Huntington Beach in 1968, where a group is formed, and they were called Teens for Christ.
Oh, by the way, I'm
no.
gonna. I know this story, and I just want to say one thing about it. There's a lot of darkness in this story, but I hope you're focusing on the good.
I think I'm focusing
Okay,
on.
good.
I mean, it just some of the stuff it made
Okay.
me laugh, and one
Okay.
I was drinking as I was like looking at it,
Oh.
and I almost spit out my juice.
Yeah.
On one part. So they're originally called Teens for Christ. Later, they changed their name to the Children of God. They reorganized later. They became known as the Family of Love, and then it was shortened to the Family until now. Their current name, they're known as the Family International. Okay,
I feel like I've heard of this.
maybe.
Uh-huh.
I'd never heard of it, but I know. Yeah, I know Brendan
I know
has
Brendan
because he
has.
mentioned it in some of our conversations. Okay, so they founded communes. They were later known as homes. The founder of this religion cult, his name is David Brant Berg. From 1974 to 1988, he took from Matthew 4:19, where in that chapter he talks about, Jesus says tells two fishermen that they will be fishers of men. He took this to mean that women would be the fisher women, and they would go out and be bait to catch men. And he created this term called flirty fishing.
Right.
Or, I just love this, FFing.
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 No. What? No, that means something else.
No, it means flirty fishing, Clinton.
Okay. I'm in the...
I mean, he had the right idea, I guess.
Yes,
This is how you
yes.
get converts.
They were very open sexually. They, just like Rialism,
Yeah.
they were very sex positive. They wanted, the way that they converted people was to have sex with them. Women would go out and have sex with them. And that's the way that they would proselytize and bring in the people.
They
Prostitutilize?
brought Jesus' love into the living room.
Exactly.
And the bedroom.
We'll get there. Hold on. Wait. This is by doing this. This was known as a deep witness.
Oh, deep.
I put in my notes because I saw proselytizing. I put my notes like, bet you would answer the door if they came knocking.
I would.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So women were known as God's whores, or
Wait.
God's whores?
God's whores.
They were officially called God's
They were
whores?
called God's whores, or hookers for Jesus.
The more politically correct term, thank you.
Yes, hookers for Jesus. So FFing.
Needs a head.
So FFing, the women who would do this, they also went into escort servicing because that would mean that they could bring in more converts. This was known as ESing. And it was also a way that, and Brandt decided that FFing would be a great way to bring in some income. So that's why they created ESing. Okay. They would work as call girls and they would witness to clients where the situation presented themselves,
Right.
I mean,
when you're cuddling.
So I'm assuming
cuddle.
I'm assuming right after.
Yeah.
Right after.
By the end of 1988,
Wait, I want to throw something out there because I remember reading about this, and I remember one of the things that Berg said was that he said that it's like I don't know if you get to this, but it seemed like you were going past it. But like Berg said, it's only right for people to donate to these preachers who come to your house to effing you because they're giving you their time, they're spreading the word, so the church expects a small donation. It's only right. Like there's actually wording where he's like, it's only right.
I didn't read that, so I'm glad you pointed that out. FFing did eventually stop in 1988. By the end of 1988,
it's
though.
FFing. It just means something else now.
Yeah, well, these things, they evolve over time. They change into other things. So by the end of 88, the successes, the people that came in, they were known as fishes. Or they became they became known as fruits. They're successes. The women that brought in all these
you
men.
FF'd fruits and you brought fruits.
They're the fruits of their labor.
That's a bad analogy. It doesn't,
whatever.
doesn't
That's
flow.
that's what it said.
Fishers bring in fish.
So they've been FFing since 78.
I know I've been FFing since 78. I wasn't born yet, but
by 1988, where it ended, 223,000 plus had been fished. Had been caught.
3,000 converts.
Yes.
So I will say, if I was a straight man in the late 70s looking for a good lay, and I could tune out some evangelical spiel,
Yeah.
it would be, I'm assuming they would be good and they would take it seriously, and I wouldn't worry about them like robbing me because they just want to get some money and then evangelize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
So-
represent the church. So you represent the church
Now
badly if you.
I just feel bad about my college years when I was like, all they did was just give me free food and I just kept going. If they were gonna offer this, I probably wouldn't have never left.
You're born too late, man. You're
Yeah, I
born
know.
in the wrong era.
And it was like right over there too.
I know.
Not too far.
I mean, then again, they're talking about the 70s. This is a conversation we had. The epidemics that came about because
yeah.
the 70s just the sexual revolution.
That might, I mean, truthfully, that might have been a part of what played into the ending of that.
Yeah,
in
no,
88.
that has to be.
Well, yeah, part of the 80 and AIDS, because like the AIDS epidemic
Mm-hmm.
and everything, and people were afraid of that and whatnot. Also, as part of this, they didn't believe in birth control, so there were pregnancies.
Wow.
So
did both.
the kids that were born as a result of this, this is what always made me spit out my juice. They're known as Jesus babies.
Jesus babies.
Right.
I mean, at least Claude had like the Elohim and like some better names than Jesus babies.
Jesus babies.
Jesus babies, God's whores.
It sounds like a really bad bake sale, like a churchy bake sale. Whores. Babies.
I've got Jesus babies. There are 3 for $1.
Okay, so going for a little bit further into their teachings, they're soldiers in a spiritual war of good versus evil for the souls and hearts of men. They have spirit helpers that include angels, departed humans, religious and mythical figures, and celebrities, which include
celebrity endorsements.
well, and they have mythical figures, which include Aphrodite, the snowman, Merlin.
Wait, the snowman who had the hat?
The snowman?
Wait.
Like the snowman,
The
not
snowman.
snowmen,
No,
not
snowman.
like a snowman, but like
it said the snowman.
He'll
Yeah,
be back
the
again one
snowman.
day, I guess, in time for the 70s.
Merlin, the Sphinx, Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn, Richard Nixon, and Winston Churchill.
Why Winston Churchill?
Let's get to a really important part.
But I'll tell you what, no, Winston Churchill, his whole thing was, he was like all about being nude all the time.
Really?
Yeah, Winston Churchill, when he's at home, even when he was visiting the White House, in his quarters, he was always nude. So people walked in on him nude all the time. You guys hear this one great story? It's one of my favorite Winston Churchill stories ever. By the way, this is not the story I'm about to tell, but Roosevelt has seen his dick. I mean, Roosevelt has seen Churchill's
Well,
dick.
Johnson was known as just,
I
he
know.
just would love to
Dude,
just whip
Big
it out
Dick-
and
dude,
just show everyone.
Big Dick Johnson. Did you know that? Lyndon B. Johnson had to get tailor-made pants because his dick was so big. Normal pants, it wouldn't, like, he would constantly talk about, like, in memos, like, in official meetings, like, hey, by the way, I need you to check on the pants order that I have. Like, he's all about getting tailored pants for the junk area.
But he would also literally go up to people, unzip his pants,
Really?
and whip it out.
I did not know about that part, Johnson.
He would go and just
He is not
just
creative.
show everyone.
Oh, during like press junkets and stuff? Here, look at my penis.
He would even do it to the Secret Service.
Oh, that's a bad. That was a bad
way
time.
to secure votes, though. Like, oh, you question if I'd be a good leader? Look at this.
Look at that.
this.
Oh, it really beats like Trump's hands things, huh?
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'll just show you my dick.
So the Churchill story I love is this, right? Have you guys ever heard the story about how the Lincoln, like the ghost of Abraham Lincoln, haunts the White House? Like that's a story. Like they say that there's a couple like rumors and myths about the White House, but one of the most prevailing myths that many presidents, many people who've worked there have said, like they've seen the ghost of Lincoln in the White House. You'll look it up. It's famous. So Winston Churchill was taking a bath in his quarters one time, naked, of course.
Well, you're in the bath.
He'd be naked either way, but he's in the bath. He was walking from like the bath to his quarters. So he's walking through the hall. He sees the ghost of Lincoln. He stops. He stares at the ghost. The ghost stares at him, and then he says, "My apologies, Mr. President. You seem to have caught me at a disadvantage."
That's awesome.
And then apparently the ghost of Lincoln
So British.
smiled at him and then left.
That's awesome. That's got to be my favorite story ever.
Anyway, go on.
Okay, so let's get to a very important part of their teachings. Loving Jesus.
I mean, if they weren't already loving Jesus.
They're going to love Jesus.
This is going to get good.
So like most churches, they believe that they're the bride of Christ. Okay, that they make up the bride of Christ.
The church itself.
The church itself, the members of the church make up the bride of Christ. However, they go a step further. They encourage you to have a sexual relationship with Jesus. Meaning that when you're having sex with your significant other, when you're masturbating, whatever it is, you should imagine that Jesus is there with you. Now,
I'd go.
I have a lot of questions about this.
This sounds fun.
Males are told to visualize themselves as women, so they avoid the whole homosexual relationship with Jesus.
Oh, so homosexual is not a good thing.
Yeah.
This
So-
is a more conservative.
Yes.
They are
This is not
they are
realism.
anti-condom.
Yeah. So they want you to actually really believe that Jesus is in the bedroom with you as you're having sex.
Huh.
And if you're a man, you should imagine yourself as a woman.
Huh.
So, just keep that in mind.
I don't want to. I want to put that out of my mind quickly.
Imagine yourself as a woman, which is could be fun, could be
fun,
fine.
yeah.
But to have sex with Jesus, regardless, is not
There's
good.
a lot of imagining. You have to imagine yourself as one person and your partner.
Yeah,
as,
you
like,
have to imagine
somebody
your partner
else.
as Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of thinking. I
There's
think
a lot.
it distracts.
So if you're a guy, you're pumping Jesus.
You're working really
the
hard.
guy has to work twice as hard. He
Yeah.
has to think that he's a woman, and then that the woman he's with
is
is Jesus.
All
and then
while
he's having
keeping-
sex with Jesus.
All while
and then
keeping it up.
the woman has to think of the man as being Jesus. So it's like almost Jesus is fucking himself, though.
And then the
Oh,
guy
that's
has
true.
to think, if I'm a woman, and why do I have a penis? Oh, I have a strap on and I'm fucking Jesus.
So you have to
It's too
explain.
complicated.
This is what they teach. And how they bring this about is they use graphic poetry, they use guided visualizations, artwork, songs.
Do you have any of these poetry?
I do not.
Please, I don't want to hear
I
that.
do
I
not.
don't want to hear that.
So they have the main thing, they edit it down for teens, and then they further edit it for kids, because they do teach it to kids as well.
Yeah, none of this sounds family friendly.
No, it doesn't. And this religion and all this, they don't bring it into conservative countries because they think it'll be labeled as porn. Like, why would anybody do that? And they're even like in Africa. They're like, I want to say a number. I think I remember was like 82 countries or something like that. I mean,
Well, they are the Family International.
the Family International.
Yeah.
Not as many as Rialism, which is
No.
in 84.
What?
You said it was in
Countries.
84?
84 countries.
Yeah,
84.
yeah. Oh, that's the major religion then.
This surprised me, and this is where it made me think of Brendan because he brought it up. So some of the members that have been part of this that were brought into as kids, Rose McGowan.
Yeah.
She was born into this. The Phoenix siblings, so River, Joaquin, and then their other siblings, Rain, Summer.
That makes
Rain
sense.
and Summer. They were in it from 1972 to 1978. The founding member of Fleetwood Mac, Jeremy Spencer, he was in it. He actually left Fleetwood Mac in 1971 to join the Family International.
Oh, I mean, at least the kids were going in the
So-
other direction. They were born into it and then they left.
yeah.
He went. But I mean, I don't know if you're going in. I'm not gonna mention.
That's
any of this.
actually the end of my
Oh,
thing.
I'm gonna say this because that's the thing is this story. Like there is definitely like some hilarious stuff, and like there is some really bad dark stuff in this cult. Joaquin and River Phoenix and Rose McGowan, they dealt with that stuff and they got out. And, and when you read some of the stories of people who got out of this cult,
I didn't want to read this stuff.
dude, I honestly, when I read it, I was looking into it the same reason. I was like, oh my gosh, effing, this is ridiculous. Oh, this is outrageous. Fucking for God, like this is crazy. But then when I read the dark stuff, I was like, I don't want to bring this darkness into my show. I literally thought to myself, this is bad.
Yeah.
And then I found the alien religion.
So much better alien
Sex
ones.
robots.
Sex robots.
You can't rape a sex robot. Actually, I don't know.
I mean,
That's a
Westworld,
different question.
Westworld's making
That's
us
a-
ask some questions, you know?
different
It
question.
really does depend how sentient is the sex robot. Like,
I mean, dude, you know what? The robots were sentient enough to give a freebie to Claude, right? Because he walked over to his supervisor and he's like, hey, man, can we get 3 more sex robots for my friend here? My friend, the pop star?
Oh man, cults are fun.
You were talking earlier about how you wanted at some point to do a sex episode.
I do. Next week is sex.
This
is it?
this week has been not about sex at all. There's no sex talk today. This is not about sex.
This has been a serious philosophical discussion, Clinton.
Perfect.
Very serious.
Next week
Very
is a sex
serious.
episode. I'm going to invite my girlfriend.
I remember one time, I don't know if you got to this episode, but there was an episode where like we talked for 40 minutes about sex, like hard, like about positions and just everything.
Just going at it
And
hard, long, 40 minutes of
Was
sex
I-
talk.
was I
Pounding
here?
at the
Stop.
mic.
I think you might have been, but all I remember is
Was that episode I
afterwards,
was on?
I was just like, all right, guys, so the topic for today is AI. It was like, not that at all.
It all leads back to Circle of Dicks.
It was. We started with Circle of Dicks, and I feel
Yeah.
like it's just
It's-
been the
it's come full
consummate
circle.
circle. We also started. I mean, to take this mascot for realism,
Yeah.
we did start with the conversation about sexy mascots and which
That's true.
serial mascot we'd have sex with. And
Oh, that's true.
So you were Tony the Tiger Noosh.
But also, I think it could be Captain Crunch. I mean, he's
Captain
experienced.
Crunch, really?
He's experienced.
Really?
He's experienced, man.
For the mature.
He's like
Man.
for
He's
children
been to
the most
sea.
interesting guy.
He's been
in the
to
world.
sea. He's seen things.
My eyebrows are above my hat.
What was
He
it that
does have
came
really
out?
good berries.
Yeah.
But
Crunch
he's not
berries.
even really a captain. He's like an admiral or something.
Well, I mean,
Admiral Crunch, will that work?
that he's a man of the
He's
people.
captain.
He's
It's not
demoting
captain.
himself
It's
to connect with the common man. That's why.
He's Cap
how,
and Crunch.
how else can you fight the Soggies if not by connecting with the common man?
Do you say the Soggies?
Listen, one day I want to talk about this, but I don't know if you guys ever heard about this, but there's a comic book called Breakfast of the Gods.
What?
Oh my
Good
god.
Lord.
Okay, I'm going to tell you about it one day, not now. I'll bring you on, Clinton, just to talk about it. I don't want to leave you out. Breakfast of the Gods is an epic Lord of the Rings style story about the breakfast cereal mascots fighting against evil
Oh my
in the
God.
form of Count Chocula, who wants to bring endless night and take away breakfast.
I really want to read this.
It's incredible. Like,
I
it
wanna
is
read
actually
this.
a legit, like, holy shit, this is a serious ass story. Like, it's a serious ass story.
I want to read this.
This is how I know our regular group is back together and everything's going well.
Yeah.
Because I'm back to wanting to make movies off of our stories.
Thank you. All right, so, Brendan, do you have anything you want to shout out or promote?
No, not really.
Ken?
You could visit a lot of my writings, some about sex, some about not. It's my name, ke-n.net.
Your name is KE-N?
Yeah, because ken.net was taken already,
No, I know,
so it's
but-
like,
Never mind.
We got Stubbs and KE-N.
I'm just going to rename it to Stubbs.
It's like
Hey, that's my name, that's my name.
Stubbs.net.
And then everybody that likes me are called Stubbies.
Oh, nice.
Stubbies!
And then you can start the sex cult.
Yeah.
Whatever-
Sexy Stubbies.
Well, you would call it stubbing then.
Yeah. We'll call it stubbing my toe.
Oh my god.
That's yeah. I've
Courtney?
seen that porn.
Nothing for me personally.
Oh, by the way, actually, an important announcement. So going forward, guys, we're going to be
Oh, yeah.
changing our publishing schedule. Instead of producing an episode every single week during the fall and the spring, what we're going to be doing is the 15th and the 30th of every month, we're going to be publishing an episode starting now. So this episode, happy Halloween. We ain't talking about that, but we're talking about cults. Happy Halloween, everyone. So this episode is going out as our, right before Halloween on the 30th. The next episode will be the 15th of November and then the 30th
So
of
on and
November.
so forth.
Going forward, we will this time take a winter break as usual, just because we need to kind of catch up on some things for the show. But starting next year, January 15th, we will be continuously doing the show. So every 15th and 30th, you will get a new episode. We will be having, you could say, less frequency of episodes, 2 episodes a month instead of 4, but we will have continuous episodes, so there won't be breaks
Yeah.
between our show. So that's the trade-off we're basically doing. Clinton, do you have anything you want to shout out or promote?
The only thing I would shout out is I talked to a bunch of people. I used to hate Halloween.
Okay.
Since this is the Halloween episode. I used
Yeah.
to hate Halloween. I'm a horrendous arachnophobe, so it's the worst time of year
Spiders
for
are
me.
everywhere.
Yeah, it sucks. I'm from Portland, and the fun of Portland on Halloween is non-existent because you have to make any Halloween costume with a rain contingency plan. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, great, I'm going to be a Ewok with a parka. It just kind of like doesn't work.
Yeah.
They do wear like that hooded thing, right?
Oh, yeah, they have a little
Yeah,
hoodie.
yeah. That's probably one of the easier costumes
Yeah.
to do. But yeah, you can't do like a sexy ballerina
Yeah.
when it's 45 and sleeting. Like you just can't do that. And so there was a question on Reddit the other day of sexy people of Halloween, how do you do it without freezing your tits off? And I'm like, you moved to Southern California. And not only that, on Halloween night, you go to West Hollywood. Because Santa Monica Boulevard is shut down and
It's
there's
crazy.
200,000 plus people.
Yes.
There are no agendas. It's not like you have to go somewhere. It's just like you're walking up and down the street. You don't really have to hide your containers. Like it's just
it's-
super chill. You've been?
Once. I went
Once?
down once.
So where's it? This Santa Monica?
It's Santa Monica between, I'm not going to get it right, but it's, I think, basically La Cienega and Doheny.
Okay.
Generally like the WeHo main strip. And
Yeah.
it is, I would say, WeHo generally right now is gay like the rest of LA is. That is especially mixed. Like that night, it's everybody. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. And
Yeah.
the thing that I say about LA Halloween is you have to realize that the people around you are professional makeup artists,
Yep.
professional costumers, or they work with those people, so they have access to really crazy costumes. And it is literally the best collection of costumes I've ever seen. And you just go and you just walk. Like, there's no agendas. There's no advertising for it because it's just people in costume hanging out.
Yeah.
But it's the biggest, I believe it's the biggest Halloween celebration in the U.S. And
I wouldn't doubt it.
And it is so much fun. And whenever I meet people who haven't gone, I'm like, you have to go. It's so easy.
It's worth it to go at least
You have to
once,
park
yeah.
a ways away and then walk in. That's fine. But do that. It's totally worth all the hassle because I think it's just so much fun to just chill and hang out and check out Halloween costumes. If you're into guys, if you're into girls,
If you're into costumes,
if you're into
whatever.
costumes, there is something to tantalize whatever you want.
Wow.
There's probably some little green men handing out sex robots.
Dude, there's...
Yes.
I was going to say, though, I mean, you're not going to shout out to your husband or your dog? Like, I mean,
Well,
like...
my dog doesn't listen to the show. I would say if I get to shout out anything else, I just would shout out Best Friends Society, which is where he came from. We adopted him from the No Kill Los Angeles shelter.
Okay.
Adopt your dogs. They're
Yeah.
beautiful puppies, and I think mutts are like the best because
Yeah.
you kind of don't know what you're gonna get, so you can go in and like feel the dog out, and you know that that's the dog you're gonna get, not some like crazy breed.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we will end the episode. The song that we are ending with is, oh man, this is another tough one. I think it's Stories by A. Himitsu. So, okay, thanks guys for joining us tonight. We will catch you again, not next week, but on the 15th. Look forward to us.
Just say goodbye.
All right.
Just subscribe. Just subscribe.
We're great.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ryan and Noosh Are Dead is made possible thanks to KDHR, the student-operated radio station of California State University, Dominguez Hills. For more information about KDHR, please visit www.kdhr.net. The intro song for this show is Space Ace by Blind. The intermission songs are Brambles in the Breeze by Protricity, Lost in Time by Your Daily Water and Expert Novice, and Radical Dreamers Angelic Mix by Tim Shihai. This music is made available thanks to Overclocked Remix. For more information, please visit ocremix.org.